Sam, it was a little bit out of the blue signing when you joined the Devils last year. It was kept under the radar, but all Devils fans were very, very happy. Even happier now to see you back after that first season in Devils colours. How did you enjoy your experience of being a Cardiff Devil?
It was a really, really great first year for me. I think personally, I learnt a lot from Lordo and the boys around me. So it was a great experience of my first pro season. Obviously, to have the success that we had at the end of the year to topped it off. But just looking at it on a personal note, I think I really came on a lot throughout the year and just developed each part of my game slowly but surely, and that's what I'm looking to do over the summer now, to just keep building on those things and make sure I have a better one next year.
So I know it's been talked about, but take us back a little bit, because in one of his Q&As last year, I think Todd said that maybe he coached your brother in Bracknell when Todd was there. So was it Todd using his connections to bring you to Cardiff?
Yeah, I mean, I think Todd was my brother's favourite player when he was growing up. So that's kind of funny how paths meet again after such a long time. But yeah, I think Todd came up to me a couple of years ago after a GB game here against Norway, and kind of just gave me his details and sort of said, not here on behalf of the Devils, but if you ever need any advice or anything like that in the future, to get in contact. And then so when I made the decision to move back to home and join the Elite League, that was the first person I was going to call, because I'd heard great things about Cardiff and sort of idea and what they want to be doing here at this club. So yeah, I was definitely happy I made that decision, and I haven't looked back since. So
I'm always keen to ask British players, and you're a talented British player at the start of your career, I suppose there's great value in maybe getting out of the UK for a bit and seeing other things, different styles of hockey, different cultures. Do you feel even at your young age you're more of a well-rounded both hockey player and person because of that experience?
100%. And to any young British player that wants to develop their game and really experience a whole new side of life, I would definitely recommend heading out somewhere, whether that's Europe or North America, Canada, wherever they feel is best for them. For me, playing in Sweden for 4 years was probably the best thing I've ever done. To be honest, we had a great 4 years there. Me and the boys are best friends still. So it was a great experience. I learned so much about myself, about my game, about just everyday life. I think you have to learn to sort of be a grown-up kind of thing. So that really helped me moving away when I was 16, at quite a young age, and figuring all that out myself. So no, I loved it. Again, like I said, I would recommend it to any young player that wants to develop their game, because it's a completely different environment out there when it comes to hockey. I think Sweden's a place where they like to develop their young players, and they really put a lot of time and effort into that. So I got the benefits of that. It really helped bring on my game in all aspects, and like you said, to also develop as a person too. So
what I'm interested about, and following on from that, and your experience of going abroad, particularly playing in Sweden, it seems to me in the stands you've got great responsibility when you play, and I suppose that was noted initially, maybe taking some fourth line minutes. By the end of the year, you were playing third line minutes alongside Lane Olmer. Andrew Lord obviously had great trust in you and what you were bringing to the team, what you were bringing to the ice.
Yep, definitely. I think one thing that I really took out of my 4 years in Sweden was I knew going into it what my strengths were, but I wanted to find out what my weaknesses were, and actually really what my main aspect of my game was. And I think that's something that I identified myself when I was there, and I've always felt like I've played like quite a mature player. So yeah, I think I just came in, I made sure I kept my head down and worked hard and went about my business, and lucky enough I felt that Lordo's trust in me grew and grew throughout the year, and the more he worked with me, the more we spoke and worked together. It was by the end of the year I felt like he had a lot of trust in me, which was great. Funny story about what you mentioned about Lane Olmer. Is his son is 2 years old, so there's an 18-year difference between me and his son, and there was an 18-year difference between me and him, and I was playing on the same line.
Nice symmetry there.
That was a pretty funny ongoing joke we had in the locker room. So,
but playing with seasoned veterans like that, we forget that Lane Olmer, played in the NHL and played high level AHL European hockey. you can only learn from that.
Oh, I mean, like I said, everything that Lordo and the coaches have worked with me here, that gives you one thing, but then also looking at the players and learning off the guys around you that have been my age and gone through that and are maybe in their 10th, 11th year pro. I think I've always tried to be as observant as I can be, and I've really learned a lot from guys like Olms and different guys like that. So
I'm intrigued you say, and I think it's a great attitude, that you knew what your strengths were and maybe you've worked on your weaknesses a little bit. How would you describe yourself as a player? Because again, from the stands, I can see that you can protect the puck well, you skate well, you play a little bit of a rink rat sometimes when you need to. You get in under the skin and get in on the forecheck. How would you look on yourself as a player?
I would describe myself as more like kind of I know it sounds maybe a little cliche, but like a all round. I feel like I can do a little bit of everything, whether that's score or make plays or whatever. But I think a fast two-way forward, power forward would be, if I had to put it into a couple sentences, that would be it. Like you said, I mean, I wouldn't describe myself as a rat at all, but I think I definitely like the physical side of the game, and I like to play with that intensity. I've always been like that. I've always had that kind of edge to my game, so that's something that just comes naturally to me, and then I feel like I can bring that when it's needed, but at the same time I can be a player more of a skill game too. So yeah, like you said, I like to use my size and get to the net and use my speed and shoot the puck a lot. So yeah.
You're wearing the playoff winning T-shirt at the moment. I've just got to ask. Everyone enjoyed playoff weekend. You maybe had a slightly rougher ride, particularly in the final than others.
Yeah.
What happened in the final, and how are you feeling now?
Yeah, no, I think it was probably my third shift of the game. I just come into the net, and the defenseman turned around and tried to box me out, and he just caught his cross check right above my hip bone. So just knocked a nerve, and it basically paralysed my left leg for about 20 minutes. So I couldn't really put any weight on it, and then. Yeah, it's tough when that happens to you at that point in the game because you're not really in the game yet at that point. But yeah, it was just an unlucky knock. But I was able to kind of get back on the bench with the boys, and I don't think it would have been the smartest thing for me to go back on the ice. But yeah, and it was just that was the main thing at that point. I knew I probably couldn't play the rest of the night, but I just wanted to get back on the bench with everyone else and be a part of it. And luckily, we got the job done. And
well, I've heard. Sorry to interject. I've heard that about you. And I hope you don't mind me saying, but other teammates and things like that have said that even for a young guy, you like being vocal on the bench. You consider yourself to be a leader, or a leadership role sits comfortably with you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's not something I really think about too much. I think I've always sort of like to be vocal in the room and on the bench. I think it's something that I like to do to help me be in the game too. So that's something that I definitely take a lot of pride in is being a leader. And like you said, I know I'm a young player, but I'm just going to be myself. That's what I've been doing all year, and I think I'll always just be myself around the rink. It's where I'm happiest. It's where I most enjoy to be. So it's that's definitely a part of me as a person.
And just finally, Sam, and I ask this selfishly as a Cardiff Devils fan who can see your talent and want you to stay here for and make a career out of it now. But how do you view your career right now? You've been away. You've played in Europe. You had a crack at North America. Still a young guy. Are you looking to put some roots maybe in Cardiff? Is it still a stepping stone to other things? And in addition to that, when you've seen what the GB team have just done, I suppose a major aim is to get involved in that program again, as you have been previously. Yeah,
definitely. I think right now I'm just focusing on next year. I think in the past I've worried too much about too far into the future. So right at this moment I'm just make sure I keep working hard and doing my thing, and I should be all right. And then of course I have goals and ambitions for the future within the next 5 years of where I want to be. I'd love to maybe try and move on to a better league. The elite leagues are shown that we're competing with the top leagues in Europe right now. But I think just to get that experience of maybe moving on to a league that in a different country, different style of hockey, that's something that I would be definitely looking to do. But for right now, I'm very happy in Cardiff, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of years here. With GB, of course, it was amazing to see what the boys did over there in Slovakia. It was a privilege, an honour to be with them in Belfast a couple of years ago, and great to see them be successful again there. But 100%, that's pretty close to the top of my list for going into next year. Is that I want to be on that team in Switzerland.
I did say it was a final question. Just one more final question. Whilst people like me are enjoying my summer, you're already working pretty hard.
Yes, yeah. I probably had about 3 weeks off after I got called up to the GB camp after the playoffs there, and I managed to get on the ice with those guys, and and then after that I got back from Coventry. I had probably 3 weeks off and 2 weeks completely off, and then sort of I get a bit itching in my skin to get back. So I sort of started easing myself into it, and then since then I've been on the ice pretty much every day in the gym. So and I've been loving it. So I can really start it sort of like I mentioned earlier. I'm building on the stuff that I learned throughout the season, and that's what I'm going to be looking to do throughout the whole summer.
Well, as a Cardiff Devils fan, on behalf of Cardiff Devils fans, we're very happy you're back in Cardiff to continue to build that career. And Sam Duggan, for a second season in Cardiff, welcome back to the Devils.
Thank you very much. Cheers.